So this is Dan of 𝗥𝗲𝗄𝗡, and today we have an old friend from 3 years ago.
Long time.
Jojo, welcome.
Welcome back.
So Jojo's living the dream. He moved to the Philippines and he's been brewing beer. You moved to the Philippines
31 years ago.
31 years
1994.
ago, when you were 23.
Yeah.
And you started out as a dive instructor. And then how long ago did you start your beer business?
Well, we started in the beginning of pandemic, more or less, to become industrial. We've been brewing before a little bit here and there, like as a hobby, me and my mate Luke.
Yeah.
And then pandemic hit and we had like whatever. And we said, okay, let's try to make some more beer, even if for our own consumption only, at least we can cover that.
Yeah.
And then it became more famous and took off, and what the result you're gonna see later, we're gonna talk about later, I guess.
Yeah, so I last saw you in May of 2022, so that's almost 3 years ago. How many keggers a month were you brewing? Do you know it, or by liters? How do you?
A keg, the old days I can't remember, but I would reckon we didn't have many kegs as well. We had probably about 30 kegs or 40 maybe. And so this is like, this is about less than 1,000 liters for sure.
Okay.
We did a month that time.
Less than 1,000 liters. And now what do you?
And now we just upgraded our brewery from whatever, good China, of course.
Right.
With the new fermenters and everything. In the moment we can produce, if we go full swing, we can do 9,000 liters a month.
Okay, 9,000 liters. So you're, in 3 years, you've 9 times your business.
More or less, yes.
Yeah, so you're taking over the world.
There's a lot of like drunk people, not drunk, but thirsty people out there.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
So, and we're here in the Philippines, and you're kind of living the dream life. You come over, you're a dive master, and then you start brewing beer, really like, what is it, 5 years ago? And now you've got this huge business you're doing. So
yeah, the brewing we started about 5 years ago. 2019, we started hobby brewing on an island where I worked as a water sports manager together with Lucas. He was a dive instructor there.
Right.
And then we made like small bottles and went terribly wrong, and it was just for the fun of it.
Right.
But then, we started with a 25-liter system, then we got a 60-liter system. Then when last time I saw you in May 2022, we had a 150-liter system in the garage. We still brewed.
Right.
And stuff like that.
And Chung and I stopped by your... So first of all, the name of your brewing company is...
It's 𝐶𝐸 Brewery.
𝐶𝐸 Brewery.
Yeah.
And you also have a restaurant here in 𝐶𝐸.
We have a tap room, more or less, where we sell our draft beer for our own things there. This is called the brew house, 𝐶𝐸.
Brew house. And the food's good there, too.
Food's excellent.
It's excellent
night head chef now and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's the only place also we make 6 main beers we're doing in the moment.
Yeah.
And it's the only bar you can get all 6 beers on tap.
Right.
Then we have another distributions around the town, the Philippines, or not Philippines, more or less around here, and some resorts where you can usually get like 1, 2, maybe 3 different beers.
Right.
But 6, the whole shebang, you get only by us in the brew house in 𝐶𝐸.
That's great. And so at the time we met you in 2022, you were using the 150-liter system?
Yes, that's right.
And was that only providing for your brew house, or was it also...
Well, we had mainly for the brew house, but also it wasn't busy yet because there was not many tourists around. So sales were very low, and it was enough for that time.
Right. But now how many... You not only have the brew house now, but you distribute your beer to other restaurants and resorts. Like how many outlets... How many places can you buy your beer right now?
Boo! Out of my head, I think about 15 or something like that.
Okay.
I'm not so sure about that.
And people are going to be in El Nido that watch this. Where can they get your beer?
Yeah, in El Nido we have 2 bars. They're serving our beer. One is called Mabuhay Sports Bar. It's actually quite newly opened recently again. They have a pool playing right on the beach. Best location in El Nido. Can't miss it.
Right.
And the other bar is right behind them, more or less, the Rooftop Bar and Boutique. But they have our beer quite a long time already. Very nice guys. A bit elevated, away from the traffic and the noises.
Right.
Beautiful bar as well to sit in.
You must be pretty busy now with that sort of growth.
I'm working more than I ever did before in my life.
So
the thing is also we are in a transition because we are still small but getting big.
Yeah.
Right. But now we could employ like 5 more people.
Right.
But we don't know if it continues like that, right? If you employ 5 more people, you have the responsibilities of them and their families to supply them with a livelihood. So we are a bit hesitated with like, should we employ more or not? If it continues like the growth we have in the moment and the business like it is in the moment, we're going to employ next season more people, obviously.
Right.
Because we can't do it all ourselves anymore. It's became a little bit too big, but it's okay.
So 𝐶𝐸 and El Nido are in Palawan. How do people say, I'm going to go to 𝐶𝐸 or I'm going to go to El Nido? What's that distinction? How do people decide?
It's mainly because Coron and El Nido is like voted as the best beaches in the world almost, or whatever. I think down San Vicente, I think is called, or whatever. It's the longest beach in the Philippines, right? It's like the next Boracay, the people say, and stuff like that. And then Coron is just from the advertisement. Everybody knows the nice waters around there, the corals. We get on top of it, the shipwrecks for the divers.
Right.
And very good is these island hopping trips between Coron and El Nido. What a lot of people offer now, like Tao and Big Boatmen or whatever you call them, all these organizations.
Yeah.
They're all very good, and there's like fantastic way to go from Coron to El Nido or vice versa.
Right.
It depends what you want to do, because you see all the island world. You go somewhere where not a normal tourist goes and stuff like that.
That's right.
Yeah. Otherwise, also transport between Coron and El Nido is very easy with these fast ferries we have now going like twice a day mostly.
Right.
Whatever, like takes you 4 hours and you're down in El Nido or the other way.
Yeah.
But it's quite good.
When you go to your bar and sit down and order a beer, what's your favorite beer?
Mine, I'm obviously a German, so my favorite one is the German wheat beer.
Right.
Or the Pils. I like it a bit more sweeter, more fruity, whatever. Like my business partner Luke, he's an English person, so his favorite is the IPAs because he grown up with IPAs. I grown up with wheat beer.
Yeah.
So I think it's all going back to your memories, where it's like when I was younger and had a wheat beer, so now I can have my own wheat beer on draft in Coron. How fancy is that? That's pretty cool, I think.
And it's really good beer.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's pretty good, yeah, that's why I look like this. That's the problem.
It's world-class beer. It's a nice treat.
Yeah, Gudrun is now also in the brew house because we have this new head chef in now, and he's quite good with food pairing. So he developed food actually pairing with a special beer and stuff like that. So it matches quite good.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of cripple in that one, but he's pretty good, and it worked pretty good out because people just love it.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
The food's great, and you have meat and vegetarian options. And it's a great atmosphere too.
Yeah,
I noticed it's kind of a spot where tourists end up and hanging out in that area.
Yeah, it is because it's kind of open, so you get this garden in the back where you can sit, and it feels a bit open. It's still a roof on top, but it feels open.
Yeah.
Plus we have the live music every night.
Right.
So it's usually it quiets down 11 in the night or 12 in the night, and it quiets down, and then the people moved into the nightclubs or to the other reggae bar and stuff like that. But until then, we are usually the #1 place to go in Coron town if you want to have a little bit hang out. Also good by us down is you're never alone, even you're a single traveler. You come down to the brew house, there's these big tables, you sit down, and then usually somebody going to talk to you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you meet friends, and you can make them hook up for the next day for island hopping or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
There's always like you find for sure a new friend. If you want to, you can find a new friend down in this area for sure.
So when you came over here, you were a dive instructor, and you did that for a very long time.
Yeah.
What made you think I want to go into the beer business? I mean, what was that?
It was a necessity, right? Because pandemic hit, we all got fired. We lost our jobs as divers in Coron, obviously, because all the resorts and the shops closed down because no more tourists. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So and then we were sitting here, like me, I didn't want to go back to Germany. Luke didn't want to go back to England. So we like, what are we gonna do now?
Yeah.
It's like, let's try just to make some beers.
Yeah,
then we started in the garage, like we said before, with a small system, and then we invented this beer garden right in the pandemic because it was kind of like not really allowed to drink alcohol in the area, so we kind of like, let's meet privately and whatever.
Right.
Have kind of beer garden. And that took off very well because all the expats stranded down here in the pandemic, they felt kind of lonely and almost socializing.
Nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go. No one to drink with because we weren't allowed to.
Yeah.
So we like, every Friday, everybody knew it's time, go to Jojo's Beer Garden or the Brew House Beer Garden or Brewery Beer Garden.
Yeah.
And then it was like fantastic. It was very basic. We sit on plastic chairs here. We had like the dogs running around. It was bloody chaotic.
Yeah.
But it was cool and people loved it.
And they remembered.
They remember that.
You launched your beer.
Even now people talk about the original ones here. They talk about the beer garden in pandemic. They said it was fantastic. It was really good.
Yeah. Well, you kind of have a beer garden there now. I mean, it's with that garden and everything.
It's kind of, but it's very touristy now down there.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good for us. It's nice. But before it was more like friends sitting together and have a barbecue kind of style.
Yeah.
It was really cool. And always like every week there's somebody new passed by who heard about it and wanted to come and look how it is and whatever. And
so for all those people out there, and it's a lot of people, they their whole life they've thought beer is my hobby. I'm going to brew beer. Maybe they have started or haven't started it. Going from that to where you are now, was that must be a magnitude of harder work you've had to go through.
It was, especially because we never studied beer making, right? Never started brewing. We didn't do any courses. We read a lot of books in the pandemic online and watched a lot of videos.
Yeah.
And we had a bit of help from a friend of ours who lived in China, an English guy who lives in China.
Right.
He's a beer brewer since 35 years or longer. I can't remember.
Wow.
So he gave us a lot of tips and tricks, and he tuned up our recipes, and he helped us out with the brewery we bought. So he was our consultant for that, more or less.
Right.
And he helped out a lot. But it was a big learning curve because you're sitting here middle in nowhere, and then, okay, now we have to do what we're going to do. So that's just, yeah. But it came like, beer brewing is nice, and as a hobby, it's quite an expensive hobby.
Yeah.
Right. So if you do it only for yourself, like a lot of people out there, they know they're brewing, but it's probably cheaper to buy crates of beers in the shop or whatever.
Of course.
For sure. But it's just it's a fun hobby. For us was then, because it just took off and people asked, oh, can we have your beer? Can we get some? Can we get some? And we're like, oh, it looks like it could actually work. So
that actually brings up my next question. So was this a natural growth where you were able to use the growth to pay for the new equipment as you went? Or did it grow so fast that you had to dip into savings to keep
we got like, didn't dip into savings, but we have a third business partner with us, Mark.
Okay.
And he jumped in as like the financial help.
Right.
And he's still business partner now. We are a corporation, so he has his shares and everything.
Right.
So, and he helped us out. He's also really, really good with business minded.
Yeah.
But me and Luke, we're looking at it like, oh, this looks nice. We do that.
Yeah.
And he comes from behind like, it looks nice, but it makes no sense.
Okay,
right? And like,
okay.
Maybe not.
Good.
So in the beginning, he helped us out a lot with investments, of course, to buy this brewery. But since a year or two, we can buy the new beer. We just bought the fermenters. We bought with the brewery money, then more or less, ourselves and stuff like that.
That's great. And so, if you were to say, okay, if I were doing this again, what would you do different? Maybe a tip to somebody. Maybe in Germany or the US or somewhere there.
No, actually we didn't do, because we total luck involved a lot as well, right?
Right.
It's like we are in the right market here, we have the right people, there's no competition here because nobody brews beer, and it's logistic a nightmare down here. So you have to know kind of like a few persons here and there to get it all organized and doing the stuff. So it's not so easy to make it here in this island. Yeah. Right? But we have our main targets are tourists, and tourists is a lot now since pandemic, luckily recovered good. Yeah. And too different, I don't know, not really. Whatever. It all worked out very well, so I don't really know.
Honestly, I think because your beer is so good and you're the only one in town doing it, it's almost like it had to succeed because of the demand. You
could have gone, but also they could have gone wrong as well, because the beer is good, but maybe a lot of the guests or the tourists, they don't like whatever the small beer, they want to have like a San Miguel or something else or whatever, or you can go either way, whatever. It's hard to fail because we got the market right. But it was a lot of luck as well. So it was like,
and your beer is delicious, so you can't really replace it anywhere near here. Especially, and people go to places, they want to try stuff that's local. Yeah, and you're brewing it here. I mean,
that's the good thing, because we're focusing on this, making sure it's a local brewery. We make everything locally here. We get the water from here, right? We have the workers here. We're producing here, and stuff like that. Obviously, the ingredients are imported because Philippines is too hot for grow hops and stuff like that. That's sadly. We tried with a local malt house in Manila to work with them, but their grains from Asia, Philippines and Asia, they weren't consistent enough. So you can't get the consistent beer out of it. So you have like always hit or miss. So we couldn't do that anymore, sadly. So now we import all the grains, or we buy from a supplier in Manila who imports the grains.
Yeah. So whether you're in El Nido or you're in Coron, you got to try the Coron Brewery. Come out to the brew house. Luke and Jojo are there. They split the week, and most nights one of them's there, so you can shake hands with them.
Yeah, if we're not too busy working and making new beer, we're probably sitting down there and having a beer. It's called like quality control, like to make sure the beer is good. Oh, yeah. That's why we try that every time. Not that I'm enjoying it, but I have to try.
Don't enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. I try not to.
Jojo, thanks for coming back. And
pleasure to have me. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
I've interviewed over 150 expats who've retired overseas all over the world. If you'd like to see some of those videos, click the playlist in the upper right-hand corner of your screen right now.